Hi, and welcome to another episode of Boozing with Boomers. I'm Dave, and I've been on a quest to learn how to make a great balanced cocktail. So please hit the subscribe button so we can go on this journey together. Today we're going to make the Cosmopolitan, which was made famous by Sex and the City in the late 90s, but the recipe actually originated in the 80s. Since it was a fairly recent concoction, I assumed it would be a very straightforward history for this cocktail. But guess what? It wasn't as simple as I expected. However, thanks to several sources, including the man himself, we know this was created in 1988 by bartender Toby Cecchini at the Odeon in New York City. Toby learned about this cocktail from a fellow bartender and that it was extremely popular in San Francisco. So when he put together the recipe himself, he thought the drink was horrible, so he decided he would upgrade all the ingredients, and it was immediately popular with his guests. Then along came Dale DeGroff, another great cocktail person, has got a lot of cocktail books, and he was working in the Rainbow Room in New York City, about 3.5 miles north of Odeon, and he modified the recipe further to make it a more balanced cocktail, and soon was serving hundreds of them a night. Well, the Rainbow Room's also famous for the clientele that shows up there, and so they've had a lot of famous people from Madonna at the time, but also this woman, Candace Bushnell, who wanted to try this new Cosmo thing, and guess what? It became her favorite drink. So the fact that she wrote Sex and the City is why that became the main character's key cocktail, key go-to cocktail. So we can thank him for that. But Dale didn't invent the Cosmo, but he is known for being the person to kind of create the standard recipe that is used today, and it is a more balanced cocktail. And so because of that, I want to use his recipe in the Cosmo that I make today. So let's get started. The Cosmo is a fairly simple drink. It's a great summer drink, so it's still warm, so I thought it would be a good one for today. We're going to use Citron, so Absolute Citron Vodka, Cointreau, cranberry juice, and my recommendation to make it a drier drink. So if you use cranberry juice cocktail, that has more sugars in it, that's sweeter. If you get the pure Ocean Spray cranberry juice, or anybody just makes pure cranberry juice, you're going to get the tartness of cranberry, but it's still going to be a dry drink. The Cointreau gives it a little bit of sweetness, as we know we love them in the margarita, and then a little bit of lime juice. So what we've learned along the way is let's start with the least expensive ingredients first. So the recipe calls for a 1/4 ounce lime juice, fresh squeezed, per cocktail. And of course, I will make 2. 1 ounce of cranberry juice, 1/2 ounce of Cointreau, and then 1.5 ounces of the Absolute Citron Vodka, which will give it a little bit of a lemony flavor to go with the thing, to go with the lime. And we're going to garnish it with an orange peel. Before I shake, I'm going to get the glass out. So Dale actually calls to flame the orange peel, which I'm going to try again today, but I'll be right back to get the chilled glass. So again, I like up cocktails this way by chilling the glass in the freezer. Only have to do it 5, at most 10 minutes before you make the cocktail, and then it will chill really nicely and be nice and cold to keep your drink cold without diluting it. Make sure when we're shaking the cocktail to put enough ice in there. And then obviously the secret is you give it a nice pop on top to hold it in place, but just in case, so I don't get any on you or my camera, I'll face the open end away from me. We shake it for 20 seconds, which, as we've learned during COVID, is the ABC song. So I'll be right back. And then pop it with the heel of your hand, not on the bar. We don't want broken glass. And then there's a great pour. It's going to have a nice color. It should be kind of a pale, and you probably will see it through the frosted glass. And of course, the boomer needs to try some as well. but it should give you a pale pink color. So the combination of those ingredients, it shouldn't be too bright red. And then we're going to try to flame. Now I've seen people use lighters and matches, and part of the research was they said, you know, one, if you use matches, make sure it's fully lit before using it, so a lot of the strike of the match or the carbon from there doesn't get on it. And with a lighter, you have to worry about the butane smell as well. So I am going with some nice long matches. The other trick, so we get that going, is to heat it up. And we're also looking to cut a peel with enough pith in back, which will make sure that there's enough oils that you're really getting the whole orange. But you're supposed to warm it up first. And let's see. Whoop. And then drop it in the glass. I did not burn my hand. And then for the boomer, I'm going to keep the same match. Hopefully we'll get enough going. But same thing, you're basically warming it up to get a lot of the water, because an orange will sweat. There we go. And drop it there. I'll keep my match with the ice, so I think it's safe. Now, let's see how I did. What I forgot to tell you is I have never had a Cosmopolitan, or maybe if I did when I was younger, it was overly sweet. What fascinates me about this, because this is my first time trying one in probably 30 years, is this is not a sweet cocktail. It has citrus, so I can definitely taste the lime. What's nice about the cranberry juice without any extra sugar, it's got that tartness, which also gives it a nice color. But the Citron Vodka and the Cointreau, so you basically have orange, lemon, and lime working in this. So it's actually a fairly dry cocktail. Again, if you like it sweeter, a couple changes you could make. Instead of Cointreau, use orange curacao. That's a little bit sweeter. Instead of the tart, straight cranberry juice, you could go for the cranberry juice cocktail. But for people that like cocktails and you want something just refreshing that's dry and not overly powerful, so there's really only 1.5 ounces of vodka in here. This is kind of proofy as well, but it's not an overly alcoholic drink, so it's easy to sip and have a couple. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Boozing with Boomers, and please try the Cosmopolitan and let me know what you think of this recipe. If you did like today's episode, please hit like and subscribe so we can go on this journey with Boozing with Boomers together. Thank you and cheers.